Hi Aries, happy early birthday and welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your March 2022 tarot reading. Thanks to those of you who liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, we have a Celtic cross spread as always. Also pulled the 4 agreements, Oracle, and Mudra card for you guys, but we're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of what your focus will be as far as that goes. So let's see what we get. Alright, so we have Aquarius, and that's your 11th house of friendships, groups, hopes, and wishes, and I do see Aquarius energy in your spread. We have Venus, and at the time I'm recording this, Venus is, I believe, just wrapped up its retrograde cycle. It's still in shadow, though, and then it should be in Aquarius for pretty much the first couple weeks of March, and then it'll move into Pisces, so your 11th house and your 12th house. Alright, and we have 10, so 10th house, career, social status. So yeah, you guys had tons of energy going on in that sign for you guys, which is Capricorn. The Venus retrograde we just talked about happened there. The Mercury retrograde moved into Capricorn for a while, and that just wrapped up recently as well. It's still going through its shadow period, but yeah. Could just be saying that you had a lot of focus on career, or you will still have some focus on it this month. Alright, so with all that out of the way, we'll get started. In the main situation position, we have the Star. So like I was saying, this is actually the major arcana card for Aquarius. So between that and the dice coming up, could just be saying that there's a heavy focus for you guys there. Now, for some of you, this is the card that comes after the Tower. So you guys might have gone through a bit of a rough stretch recently, and this could just be pointing to that course correction, where now you might be integrating the lessons that you might have learned from that moment, picking up the pieces in a way. And for some of you, you could just be having some insights around these situations. Basically, they might have come to you during Aquarius season, or even as we're in Pisces season in March, there's still going to be a lot of planetary energy moving through Aquarius. So, could just be pointing to that. All right, in the challenger obstacle position, we have the 5 of Cups, which is Scorpio energy, and the 7 of Pentacles, Taurus energy. So interesting to see these two cards come up, because that's where the nodes are now. The North Node is in Taurus, the South Node is in Scorpio. So could just be saying that you guys might be looking at a situation. The main energy that I'm getting here is I feel like there could be regrets around feeling like you stayed too long somewhere, right? Where maybe you weren't getting the return on your investment that you'd hoped for. So for some of you, that could be a physical investment of some kind, right? Possibly a financial investment. But for others of you, I feel like it's more of a investment of your time, your energy. So it could have been a relationship or possibly a job that maybe you felt like you stayed at for too long, and you could just be kicking yourself around that. Interestingly enough, I think your reading for last month was titled Reluctance to Move. So it could have just been one of those things where maybe you felt deep down that you should have been moving away from a situation, but there could have been reluctance to do so for some reason. In the foundation position, we have the Magician, the Sun, 9 of Swords, and Knight of Swords. So those last two are Gemini energies, and to see the Magician here with the Sun, 2 very positive cards, immediately followed up with that 9 of Swords. Again, I feel like this is pointing to that same theme that I was saying there, where for whatever reason, I feel like you might have just hesitated around the situation, and now I feel like you're looking back in hindsight, thinking to yourself, well, all along I had what it took to actually make the right moves, right? I could have actually had the success that I was hoping for, but for whatever reason, like I said, it looks like you guys might not have taken those opportunities. And now for some of you, there could even be possibly the desire to almost overcompensate for that fact, right? And say, okay, well, I'm not missing out on any opportunities anymore. I'm going to throw myself into this thing full gusto. So it could just be one of those things there. For some of you, this could even just be pointing to an opportunity that you might have had around the last retrograde that we just had, the last Mercury retrograde, and you could just be feeling some regrets around that, not taking that opportunity. All right. Past position, we have the 2 of Cups. So this is Cancer energy here. Now, for some of you, this could have been around a love relationship. It's certainly a possibility, especially given that we also see 2 standing cups in the back of the 5 of Cups card. So For some of you, it could just be as simple as that, right? Maybe you were just putting so much energy into other areas of your life, quite possibly career. And given that we see the 10th house and we talked about all the energy you guys had going on through Capricorn with those retrogrades, could just be saying that maybe you had so much focus on one area of life, possibly career, that it might have led to missed opportunities in other areas of your life, possibly around love, right? So it could just be as simple as that for some of you. All right. Present position, we have the Ace of Cups. So what I always point out to people with the Ace is we definitely think of Ace energy as fresh energy and a great opportunity, right? But it always stands out to me with this deck how the colors are always so neutral, right? So, for example, we see some blues in some of these cards, yellows, all those types of vibrant colors. Here it's just gray, which to me points to the fact that it's an opportunity, but it still requires action on your part, right? Meaning that if no action is taken, then opportunity will just slip away. So I feel like that's the main thing to take away from this Ace of Cups, which is to say, I feel like this is saying, okay, whatever this missed opportunity you had in the past, this represents you learning from that, right? And now with that knowledge, you can move forward in a more positive way, right? So, okay, if there is another opportunity to take this time you could actually take the action toward it versus feeling like, oh, I can't do anything about it, and then end up in the repeat of that cycle from the past. All right. In the near future, we have Ace of Pentacles and Three of Cups. So now we see some much more positive energy, right? But with the Ace of Pentacles, same concept, but this time it could be more of a financial thing or actually turning something into a more concrete offer this time around too. And with that Three of Cups having some celebratory energy around that. This can just represent reconnecting with people from your past as well. So it could be siblings, for example, or just friends that you've known for a long time. But this definitely looks like there would be some kind of reason to celebrate, and possibly around an idea that you've had for a long time. Now you might actually be taking action or getting ideas on how to turn it into something tangible, and that could be what the celebration is around there. All right, the position of your influence on the situation, we have the Nine of Wands. So yeah, this is Sagittarius energy here, and if we look at the position in the spread, he's looking right toward the Magician card, right? So I feel like this is pointing to what we were seeing in the foundation, which is to say you still might be kicking yourself around a missed opportunity in some situation, right? Possibly feeling like there's not going to be new opportunities to come your way. But I feel like you're going to be seeing some energy shift for you guys this month that'll actually have you seeing things in a more optimistic manner. So it could just be as simple as we wrap up those transits through Pisces, and as we get toward the end of March, the sun will be in your sign, for example. So it could just be as simple as that. That this is just those 12th house transits where you're looking back on regrets, right? Because when you have a birthday coming up, especially for those of you Aries sun versus a moon or rising, tends to make you think back on time, right? You might think to yourself, man, where did the year go? I had all these plans to do X, Y, Z, and I haven't gotten it done, right? So it could just be as simple as that, where you're just looking back and feeling like you've missed out on things, but looks like the energy's going to push you forward in a more positive way to actually take those opportunities this time around. In the environment position, we have the 10 of Cups. So this is Pisces energy here. And yeah, I feel like this is partially pointing what I was saying, which is this represents the last 10 degrees of Pisces. So pretty much more or less the middle of March, moving toward the end of March when we officially start Aries season. I feel like this is saying things in your environment might actually have you seeing things in a much more bright, optimistic outlook. So that's what I'm seeing with that. And for others of you, this can represent someone in your environment who has a much more bright, optimistic outlook on a situation. And for some of you, that could even be one of those situations where possibly their outlook does tend to rub off on you and you start to feel that energy as well. All right, in the Hopes or Fears position, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So this is Jupiter energy here. And to me, this represents you just have the desire for things to turn around, right? Like I said, it looks like you guys definitely could have gone through a bit of a rough stretch, and that could be what that star card is pointing to. While that's definitely a positive card, like we said, it's after the Tower. So could have gone through a Tower moment where maybe things didn't work out the way you'd hoped. For some of you, it could have been around career, possibly love, since we see the Venus energy there, even friendships. But yeah, just keep in mind, we mentioned all those retrogrades that wrapped up recently, and yes, we're still in the shadow periods at the time of recording this, but as we physically get into March, Venus will be out of shadow, Mercury will be out of shadow, so you feel a lot more forward momentum with those energies as well. And not to mention those signs will be moving out of Capricorn into Aquarius, which is more supportive energy, and then even into Pisces. So there's that. All right. And in the outcome position, we have the Eight of Wands. So yeah, this represents that movement, more Sagittarius energy here too. And we also see the Sagittarius energy here, but obviously between these two, this looks like a much more action-oriented energy. Everything's moving in the right direction, right? So in fact, this is saying that this is the energy you guys are going to eventually end up in March. And like I said, it could just be as simple as the sun moving into Aries. Might help you feel like those blockages are clearing up. But for a lot of you, I feel like you're going to feel that shift even earlier in March, just because those retrograde post-shadow periods are going to be wrapping up early too. All right. Bottom of the deck, we have the World. So yeah, like I said, whatever the cycle is, it definitely doesn't look like it was easy for you guys, right? It looks like there's a lot of regrets, feeling like you missed opportunities, but overall, I feel like there was definitely a growth within that. And I feel like this is saying that you guys have completed that, right? And now you just have to really trust that, okay, I've learned through those things, and now moving forward, I won't make those same mistakes, right? So I feel like that's what that's pointing to there. And interestingly enough, beneath that, we actually have the Two of Wands, which is the card that represents the first 10 degrees of Aries. So yeah, for a lot of you guys, I definitely feel like you'll feel that shift as we get toward the end of March for sure. All right, moving on to your Four Agreements card, we have Don't Make Assumptions. Be aware of unconscious assumptions. So let's see what it says. Okay, it says assumptions are made so fast and unconsciously most of the time because we have agreements to communicate this way. We have agreed that it is not safe to ask questions. We have agreed that if people love us, they should know what we want and how we feel. Interesting message there. That's definitely true. Like, we know that that's a big general communication barrier for all signs, right? Around those types of situations. So hopefully that resonates with you. All right, and moving on to your Wisdom of the Oracle card, we have Thinker. There we go. And there's the artwork, and the number is 44. All right, let's see what that has to say. Okay, it says strategy, being analytical and logical. The Oracle's message, the ability to reason and strategize is the focus now. Take things at face value and follow the logical path. Your calculations will prove to be correct, for in this moment there is no deeper meaning than what is obvious. Things are exactly as they seem. You have all the information you need. Keep it simple and you will win the game of life you're playing right now. So that was interesting there where it said you have all the information you need, because that took me back to what I was saying there with that Magician card and the Foundation and the Star card as well, where we were talking about, you might have come to the realization that you actually did have the knowledge it took to handle a situation in the past the right way, but you might not have realized it at the time. So I feel like what that's saying there is, okay, well, now you know for a fact that yes, you can handle those situations. And now if you encounter something similar in the future, you could totally handle it in a different way, and a much better way too. So hopefully I resonated. All right, the relationship message says love is not logical, but when you choose a partner, it is good to have things in common other than desire. This is a time to weigh the pros and cons of your partnership. If there is enough common ground, go for it. If not, there are other fish in the sea. Don't force it to work. And should others tell you who they are, take them at their word. Now is not the time to indulge in a fantasy. No matter what, in this case, the facts are the facts. So interesting message there, because when I was talking about the challenge position there, I felt like it was primarily you guys feeling like you stayed too long in a situation. Now, for some of you, that could have been a romantic relationship, and that would seem to align with the message there if that's the case. So hopefully that resonated with you. All right. The prosperity message says calculated action is called for now. It's important to sit down and plan a strategy. Focus on the steps you're going to take to claim your prosperous life. List all your friends now, so get out your journal. Write down what you're going to do today to signal to the universe that you're serious about attracting abundance. Your plans and strategies will yield wonderful results. Remember, your most effective strategic partner is spirit. You will win this game, and your triumph will be for the highest good of all. So pretty positive message there as well, because if you think about it, generally speaking, transits through your 12th house, so every Aries rising, sun or moon, um, those are good times to plan, so that when the actual energy does move into your sign, then you actually will have, okay, I put my plan together, now the planetary energy is supporting me actually taking action toward it. So hopefully that resonated as well. All right, and lastly, we have a mudra for you guys. So this is your mudra here. It's the Iana Mudra. The keyword for it is wisdom. And there's the info on it if you want to pause it or take a screenshot to read what it has to say. But under benefits, it says evokes the feelings of lightness, calms the mind and brightens the spirit, opens the chest and facilitates diaphragmatic breathing, reverses the outward flow of prana and directs energy back toward the body, increases the benefit of any asana. So if you feel like that would be beneficial for you guys, we'll put the name of the mudra in the description of the video as always. Once again, happy early birthday, and I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.